What's up, guys? Coming to you today with our one MLB playoff game here on Friday, October 10th. We're going to give out plays on that game on the side and the over-under. We're also going to look at a bunch of player props on that one, and we're going to dive into the entire NCAA football, the college football slate here on Friday. So we've got some games out there. I'll give you my favorite underdog pick of the day and my massive lock, my pick that regardless of price, I think has the best chance of cashing today. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel to make sure you keep seeing these videos every single day, and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally read and answer every comment I get. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and you should definitely check back a couple of times throughout the day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. In terms of a recap, guys, we still have a lot of irons in the fire. Things are looking good there for us on the Giants at plus 7.5. Saquon did not have a big first half running the ball, so that's looking good as well. Scattaboo's having a pretty good time out there. The Brewers, unfortunately, aren't looking so hot, but it's only the bottom of the second inning. We're not about to freak out about the fact they're down a little bit in that game. So we'll see if they can make a comeback, but obviously recording early here so we can get you the value on the early lines in some of these college football games. So we're going to go ahead and dive in. First up, we're looking at our one MLB game on the day, and it is a pretty fun one, guys. We're going to be looking at the Detroit Tigers as they go on the road to take on the Seattle Mariners, with the things all tied up at 2 games apiece there. We've got a winner-take-all Game 5 here in the ALDS. The Tigers come into this game fresh off a clutch 9-3 win there over the Mariners in Game 4 to force this Game 5. 13 hits, 9 runs scored in that game. 5th and 6th innings just going absolutely nuts out there to overcome a 2-0 early deficit there. So some very clutch hitting from a Tigers team that hasn't really hit the ball particularly well over the course of this season, or at least not in the back half of the season. So good stuff from them at the plate, no doubt about it. I'm sure they are stoked to see a couple hits there from Torres, a couple hits there from Torkelson, like Green hitting a home run. All very, very good news there for the Tigers. In terms of their pitching situation, Mize was okay. 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run allowed, but also struck out 6. The bullpen held things down, generally speaking. Really can't complain too much, honestly, about the bullpen performance there for the Tigers, especially when you haven't had a great bullpen this season. So we'll see what they can do here in a winner-take-all game. They've pretty much got the dream scenario here. They're going to be hitting the ball to their ace, and one of the best pitchers in the major leagues, Tariq Skubal. So happy Skubal Day to all those who celebrate. 13-6 on the season, a 2.21 ERA. This guy has pretty much done it all. Now, his last start was in Seattle. 7 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. Both of those runs were solo homers. He struck out 9 and walked 1 in that game, in a game that we did see the Tigers lose 3-2. And they're not a team that's used to losing with Skubal on the mound. But down the stretch, the bullpen was so bad. Skubal would hand them a lead, and they would just blow that lead. His last time on the mound before his start in this series, he went up against the Guardians and was great. 7 2/3 innings, 3 hits, 1 run allowed, walked 3, and struck out 14. So Skubal, an absolute monster. In terms of any other history he has against the Mariners this season, he did pitch against them right before the All-Star break, but he was having trouble then, and he didn't have a very good time. He faced them back in April, and it was also just not, he didn't get off to the hottest start to the year, but right now he's throwing the ball amazing. I'm expecting very, very good stuff from Skubal in this game. I know that's not a huge news flash here. I think Tariq Skubal good at pitching. I know. Color me shocked, but the dude's been great. I'm expecting him to go out there and get the job done. The Tigers bullpen coming off a pretty decent day. I think they have to be content with a 3.56 bullpen ERA here in the playoffs. It's not amazing. I'm not going to be looking at this as a premium level bullpen team. When you got Skubal out there, a lot of the pressure gets taken off you. So we'll see if they're able to come through in this one. I'm, hoping for good things for the Tigers bullpen in this one. We'll see if they can actually make that happen. Offensively, like we talked about, putting up 9 runs there in Game 4 with some very, very clutch hitting. That is great, but that has not really been the case for them here in the playoffs or towards the end of the season either. I mean, they've scored 9, 4, 2, 3, 6, 1, and 2 so far here in the playoffs. Not exactly an offensive powerhouse. In the second half of the season, they didn't hit the ball particularly well either, but maybe they're finding their swings at the perfect time. So we'll see if they can come up with something here in Seattle, taking on this Mariners team that was kind of feeling like the team of destiny there for a little bit. After, letting one get away there in Game 4, they have to be a little bit disappointed. They had a chance to close it out, couldn't make it happen, but they do at least get to play this deciding Game 5 at home. Right now, it's being currently listed that George Kirby will be the starter for this game. There seems to be a little bit of uncertainty surrounding that. Also, some uncertainty about how long he will stay in this game. we'll have to wait and see. Over the course of the season, he finished the year 10-8, a 4.21 ERA, so not too bad there. His last time on the mound was a start back on the 4th against the Tigers. We did see the Mariners lose that game 3-2 in extra innings, but he went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits and 2 earned runs, gave a home run, but walked 1 and struck out 8. So very, very good work, and honestly good work over his last 5 starts. He's been very, very solid out there. So we'll see what he can do in this matchup against the Tigers. Obviously, he's had a bit of a weird season. Didn't have his season start until May and definitely got knocked around a little bit then, but it seems like he's rounded into form. Had a start against the Tigers back in July that didn't go great, but his last outing against Detroit went much, much better. So to be honest, I'm expecting pretty good stuff here from George Kirby as well. We'll see if that actually happens. Now, the bullpen for the Mariners was pretty solid all year long. Unfortunately for them here in the playoffs, it has not been as good. An ERA all the way up to 6.35 here in terms of their bullpen ERA in the playoffs. Not great. Definitely will be hoping that they can get a little bit better of a bullpen situation here, but I would also assume pretty much every pitcher on the roster is available for this game, I would think. So we'll see if that is actually the case, but I would be flabbergasted with their season on the line if they weren't willing to pull George Kirby at the first sign of danger and just start rifling in pitcher after pitcher. So we'll see how that goes. I do expect them to be very, very liberal there with the pitching substitutions. Now, in terms of their offense, game 3, they looked great, putting up 8 runs, but they also have not hit the ball particularly well here in the postseason. I mean, they've scored 3, 8, 3, and 2 over their 4 games. They finished the year 9th in the majors in runs scored, but 20th in batting average, 11th in on-base percentage. And outside of Cal Raleigh, I have had my concerns about this team. Now, we have seen good days from lots of guys out there. Arozarena's doing a good job of setting the table there at the top of the order. We've seen a little bit of trouble there from Rodriguez and Polanco. We'll see if they can get back on track. Naylor's been really, really good, though. So we'll see what they do. I'm expecting the offense to have a pretty rough time against Skubal. I know that's not really a huge news flash. He's a pretty tough guy to get a hit against. So we'll see how things go in this one. Looking at the numbers for this game, guys. The Tigers are minus 140. The Mariners are plus 118. We've got a total of 5.5. Yeah, pretty crazy. Detroit 44-42 on the road this year, 44-40-2 to the over on the road. The Mariners 52-31 at home, 41-38-4 to the over at home. And I actually am going to lean just slightly towards over 5.5. This is a weird situation. You've got a game 5 here. I think we're going to see a little bit more runs scored than the odds makers are expecting, but that's not a play that's going to make the pin comment. I'm not taking the over with these 2 guys on the mound. A play that I do think has an excellent chance to make the pin comment is the no-run first inning. Now, at minus 180, it's not a particularly appealing number, but I do think the odds of a run being scored in the first inning of this game are pretty slim. I do think we'll see good stuff from George Kirby. I'm very, very confident we'll see good stuff out there from Tariq Skubal. So no run first inning, feeling very, very live. In terms of a side here, we're going with the ace. We're going with the experience. We're going with the Detroit Tigers and Tariq Skubal at minus 140. Do I feel like this is the lock of the century? No, I do not. It's a game 5. All kinds of crazy stuff can happen. I will be leaning towards the Tigers here, though. A big pitching advantage means an awful lot in the playoffs. How shocked would you guys be if we saw Skubal go out there and throw 8 innings of shutout ball? Like, I would not be flabbergasted. So I will take the Tigers here at minus 140. Now, in terms of some props, also in terms of the weather here, I forgot to mention the weather. Obviously, Seattle, they've got a retractable roof, so that's a massive difference. But rain is likely throughout the day. I think higher humidity is going to make the offense a little bit tougher. And any wind that exists, though, should be blowing out to left field at around 6 miles an hour. So there could be a little bit of help to the hitters here, but is that going to be enough to make up for going against Skubal? Seems like a bit of a big ask. So looking at some props for this game. First up, we're going to be talking about Skubal here, and I'll be taking him over 8.5 strikeouts at minus 160. It's a little bit of a steep price, but he had 9 strikeouts against Seattle back on the 5th. And in a do-or-die game, I like this where the Tigers bullpen, it hasn't been fully, expected for them to leave him out. Like they're going to have Skubal on the mound. They're not going to be trying to take him out of there. They need him out there as long as they possibly can because they're not going to be trusting that bullpen. So definitely think he's going to be out there for a while. I think he's going to pile up some strikeouts. And, he's only 1 outing removed from striking out 14 against the Cleveland. So I'm expecting a very good night from Skubal. In terms of a hitter prop, I'll take Arozarena here to get a hit. It's minus 135, so a very attractive price there on a hitting prop. Hits could be few and far between in this game, but I'm willing to run it back on our guy who's come through for us a bunch of times here in the postseason. Also, being at the top of the lineup is definitely helpful. George Kirby, I will take the over on his strikeouts. Now, we haven't been able to get a line out for that yet, so we'll have to wait and see. There aren't any concrete lines for this one, but I do expect him to start in this game. That's what's being listed here currently. I do think he'll pile up some strikeouts against Detroit. He's been nuts in his last 4 starts with 8, 10, 7, and 14 strikeouts. So I do think George Kirby to have a good day out there on the mound very, very much makes sense to me. On the Detroit side for hitting prop, I'll take Riley Green here over or 1+ hits at -155. Hit the ball well the last time against Kirby, or the last time Kirby was on the mound. And while there have been ups and downs for him this postseason, he has hits in 3 out of his last 5 games, racking up 5 hits over that 5-game span. So I think Green to get hit is pretty live here. If you're looking for a home run prop, this is a little bit of a deep cut, guys. I'll take Polanco here to hit a home run at +700. Had 2 home runs in Skubal's last start. He's gone over 8 since then, so he is a little bit due for something positive at the plate, and certainly his confidence level should be pretty high in this one, going up against somebody he clearly sees the ball against pretty well. So I will be leaning just a bit towards Polanco in this one. And last but not least, we've got a game prop, and I think this is a pretty interesting one. I will take yes on there being extra innings in this game at +475. I know this is a pretty high variance spot, obviously, but with an insane game 5 like this, unless someone has a collapse, I think it's going to be an insanely close game. And extras happening in a scenario like that with both teams in full desperation mode makes all the sense in the world to me. We just saw a crazy extra inning game there in that Phillies-Dodgers game 5, so I would be flabbergasted to see something similar here in this, very, very exciting showdown between the Tigers and the Mariners. Hey guys, hopping here with a quick shout out to the sponsor today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, UFC, NFL, college football, and NHL picks. NBA season is right around the corner. Things are really, really heating up. A very, very busy day over there on the premium side for us today. We'll be looking at all those picks here in just a second at StumpTheSpread.com, which, like I said, you can get over there by clicking the link in the description or just type it into Google or any way you want to. There's tons of great information, and you don't even have to be signing up for anything long term. Like, we've got weekly memberships, monthly, you name it, it's definitely out there for you. And there's tons of great free resources over there as well. We've got free picks that are exclusively posted over there every single day under the free picks tab. We also have our free use bet size calculator. Definitely want to be using that, making sure you're not blowing your whole bankroll on 1 or 2 bad days. And also over there at StumpTheSpread.com, that's where you'll find our premium top confidence picks, which might not usually will not always match what you see from me here in the videos, as I'm not the premium MLB, NFL, college football handicapper over there at Stump the Spread. We have experts with a wealth of experience covering all the major sports, at least a decade plus worth of experience for each guy that's covering a sport over there. Pretty impressive stuff when you look at their resumes. Also, the amount of research that they're doing on a daily basis on these plays is insane, honestly. Like, they're taking a crazy amount of data points into consideration on every single play, weather, history. Those just bring in a few, like history against specific players, history in specific stadiums, like you name it. Like, we're not just looking at what they did yesterday, we're looking at what they've done their entire career. So definitely worth taking a look at the premium stuff over there at StumpTheSpread.com. In terms of our results for today, we're recording a little bit early, so most games are still going. We are on the Giants there as a premium half unit play there. A bunch of cool NHL plays are cooking right now. That's really, really going nuts here in the early portion of the season. We've got Tulane at -6.5 as a 2-unit play. They're off to a good start. Already cashed the Dodgers there as a 1-unit play, so well played there by our MLB handicapper. That was a crazy one and kind of a depressing way for that series and that game to end, but what are you going to do? Also, bricking the no-run first inning there on the Milwaukee-Chicago Cubs game. That was a bit of a tough one. Peralta there only needed to make a couple pitches to get out of that jam and just couldn't do it, but still lots of good stuff cooking over there here on the 9th in terms of the premium side. The 8th is a little bit of a letdown, but the 6th and 7th were both very, very good, going in combined 6 and 2 over the 6th and 7th, printing a bunch of units there for our premium members. So definitely get over there to StumpTheSpread.com, check out everything we offer. Also, if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing from us here every single day, click that little join button right below the video to sign up for a YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, get their name up on screen in every single video, but maybe more importantly, get access to our members only giveaways. We give away a Stump the Spread hoodie here every single week. We'll be doing our next giveaway on the video for the 13th. We'll be spinning a wheel with the name of every single channel member on it, and whoever it lands on will get a Stump the Spread hoodie mailed straight to their address of choice. So definitely get in on that, guys, if you're interested. I think it's pretty cool. I enjoy doing that every week. Also, if you're a channel member, get down there in the comments and comment. We have at least one unclaimed hoodie right now here at time of recording. So if you're a channel member, comment down below asking about that hoodie, and there's a chance I'll just send it out to you. So definitely get on that if you're interested, guys. We're going to go ahead and dive back in. And next up, we're going to be looking at some college football action. Not a whole ton cooking out there in the sporting world here on Friday, but we are finding the games, and we're trying to find you some value here on this one. So let's go ahead and get after it. First up on the college football slate, we've got number 24 South Florida going on the road to take on North Texas. The South Florida Bulls come into this game 4-1 on the season. They've now snuck into the top 25, so pretty impressive stuff, but also very impressive are their wins, their two ranked wins. They've already beaten Boise State and Florida. They did get blown out there at Miami, but followed that up with two pretty comfortable wins there against SCST and Charlotte. So very good stuff, honestly. In that 54-26 win there over Charlotte, this one wasn't really ever in doubt. South Florida got out to a 23-0 lead, so pretty dominant stuff there. The Bulls had a great time through the air. I guess Brown did get picked off twice, so there's some mistakes to be cleaned up, but he is looking dynamic as hell, guys. The dude actually ran 17 times for 162 yards and a touchdown, with the longest run in there being 31 yards. So he was finding success every time he tucked it and ran. Also passed for those 211 yards and 4 touchdowns. So accounting for 5 touchdowns in a football game, pretty impressive stuff. Also, we liked what Davenport and Franklin were able to do on the ground. Norton also had a very good day in the ground game. Like, they ground out 407 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns on 62 total carries. Very impressive stuff. They weren't leaving this one, they weren't leaving Charlotte any chance in this game. They were going to grind it out. They were going to control the ball, and they sure enough did. Very, very impressive stuff there. Defensively, they looked pretty good. Really limited the passing game, although didn't really force a ton of incompletions, but only giving up 150 passing yards in a game is not bad. They also had an interception. They limited the running game. I'm not going to say super severely. They did give up 2 21-yard rushes, but overall held the running game in check pretty well. They generated a total of 4 turnovers in this game, so very, very impressive stuff. That's part of why they were able to win this game pretty convincingly. And honestly, the defense for South Florida has not been terrible this year. Now, they did have that one terrible game against Miami, but you take that out, all of a sudden the defense is looking really good. Despite that, though, they're still 60th in the nation in points against. They are 10th in the nation in points scored this year. Very, very good stuff from South Florida. So we'll see what they can do going on the road here against an undefeated North Texas Mean Green team. Now, the Mean Green haven't played nearly as tough of a schedule as South Florida has. That is definitely true. They are still 5-0, though. A win against LAM, a win against a VMU to start the year, beating Washington State 59-10. Okay, cool. Knocking off Army 45-38. That one, that's a little bit impressive. And then against Alabama State, I believe. Against South Alabama. Against South Alabama, winning 36-22 last week. So pretty good stuff there. We didn't hate what we saw from the quarterback. Caleb Hawkins actually had a pretty good day running the ball, 140 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Very, very good work there. It's just a little bit tough to figure this North Texas Mean Green team out. They did fumble it away once, so only 1 turnover in the game, which isn't bad when you generate 1 turnover of your own. Giving up 22 points, though, against South Alabama doesn't exactly make me too excited. They also struggled against the run. They gave up 204 rushing yards in that game, so that is certainly a concern in this one. So we'll see what they can get up to in this one. Obviously, they'll be hoping they can show out here against their first ranked opponent and only ranked opponent on the schedule. In terms of their numbers for the year, they're in the top 50 in the nation in passing yards. They're 9th in points per game, but when you look at their schedule, I'm not sure if we can really throw them a parade for that. So looking at the numbers here, guys, we see North Texas, they are 1-point favorites at home. We've got a total of 66.5 in this one. USF, 3-1-1 against the spread so far this year, 3-2 to the over. North Texas, 4-1 against the spread. They are 3-2 to the over themselves. Guys, in this game, I think we're actually going to lean a bit towards the under 66.5. I think that's the highest value play on this game. 2 of the top teams in the American are going head-to-head. I think this is going to be a high-tier effort kind of game from both squads trying to win this one. It's going to be a very, very pivotal game in terms of the how the conference is going to shake out. I think it's going to be a pretty close battle, but 66.5 is a very big number. I don't think either squad's going to be able to run away here on the scoreboard. I think it's going to be very competitive, and also both these teams love to run the ball. That is going to result in the clock running a lot and a lower overall total score. So I do think under 66.5, definitely worth a look in this one. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Rutgers Scarlet Knights going on the road to take on the Washington Huskies. Rutgers, they're 3-2 on the season. They've had a pretty exciting year. Definitely a very exciting year. Going 3-0 in the early portion of their schedule, knocking off Ohio, knocking off Miami of Ohio, and then knocking off Norfolk. Like, okay, congratulations, you beat Norfolk 60-10. But as soon as the going got a little bit tough, they did lose 38-28 against Iowa, and then last week at Minnesota, a brutal 31-28 loss. That was pretty tough. They were obviously hoping to come away with a win in that one. And while we did see decent quarterback play from Rutgers, they didn't have any answer there for Drake Lindsey, who had a monster day against them. 2 touchdowns, 1 interception there for Rutgers on the day, 249 passing yards. Not terrible. Obviously, Antoine Raymond went bonkers. 26 carries, 161 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And the longest rush in there, guys, was 23 yards. Like, he was just grinding out gain after gain every time they handed him the ball. So we'll see if they can look a little bit better in this one offensively, at least in terms of the passing game. Only that 1 turnover, so that is a point in the right direction for sure. You want to be limiting those turnovers. Defensively giving up 31 points, though. They got shredded by the passing game there of Minnesota. Not great. We'll see what they're able to do in this one, but I am a little bit worried about their defense overall. I mean, over the course of the season, they did shut down the running game at least, though, so I guess I got to give them a little bit of credit, but generating 0 turnovers is a bit of a concern, and in terms of their defense over the course of the year, they're 80th in the nation despite not playing the craziest schedule. They're 24th in points for, and their passing numbers are very, very good. So we'll see what they're able to do here as they go on the road to take on the Washington Huskies. The Huskies have had a pretty good year. They're 4-1 overall. Their only loss on the schedule is that 24-6 loss against number 1 Ohio State. Got off to a good start beating Colorado State, took down UC Davis in a blowout, beat Washington State in a blowout, then lost to Ohio State, and then last week, a very solid 24-20 road win over a pretty decent Maryland team, I will say. We liked what we saw from Williams there under center. 2 touchdowns. He was picked off once, but 275 yards to the air looks okay. The running game was definitely working out. Quarterback and running back tandem combining for 111 rushing yards and a touchdown. They were doing pretty much exactly what you would hope that they would be able to do. Now, doing that against Maryland, pretty impressive stuff. They only gave up 20 points in that game, so that's not a bad look. Held the running game really in check. Maryland couldn't get anything going on the ground. They ended up throwing the ball 49 times. Malik Washington didn't have a great day against them and got picked off once, so a pretty solid defensive effort there from the Huskies. And over the course of the season, they're 39th in points against. They've only given up 19.8 points per game this season. They're 40th in rushing yards, 21st in points scored per game. So it's been a pretty good season for the Washington Huskies, and that's a big part of the reason they are 10.5-point favorites at home in this one. We've got a total of 60.5. Rutgers, they're 3-2 on the road, 5-0 to the over. Washington's 2-3 on the road, 3-2 to the over. Guys, I'll definitely take Washington here at minus 10.5. It's a lot of points, but they have one of the best home field advantages in the Big Ten, and this is a far distance for Rutgers as they're traveling here across the country. Washington has proven they can win in convincing fashion against manageable opponents, evident by their blowout home wins over Colorado State and Washington State. Washington brings in the clear edge on both sides of the ball, and we like the Huskies to separate enough on the scoreboard to get us the win and cover in this one. They'll probably win this game by a couple touchdowns. That's my prediction. Last but not least here, guys, we're headed out to the Mountain West to look at the Fresno State Bulldogs going on the road to take on the Colorado State Rams. Now, Fresno State, they're actually 5-1 on the year, so having a pretty good time. Their week 1 game wasn't great. They did go into KU and lose 31-7, but since then they looked great, taking down Georgia Southern, Oregon State, SOU, getting a blowout win there, taking down Hawaii at Hawaii 23-21, and then last week a 20-17 win there over Nevada. So they are 2-0 in Mountain West play. Pretty impressive stuff. Got to give him credit where credit is due. The passing game looked good. E.J. Warner, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception there. It's not like Nevada's an amazing team, but they still had a pretty good time. Obviously, Fresno State was moving the ball well on the ground. 159 rushing yards in that one. No turnovers except for that 1 interception. So honestly, a pretty solid game overall. Like, I don't have a lot of bad stuff to say about Fresno State. They only gave up 17 points in that one. They generated 4 total turnovers. That's a great look. Kept the passing game in check. They did give up a little bit much to the running game. It wasn't a dominant performance against the run, but other than that, like, it was a very, very good night out there for Fresno State. So we'll see what they can do in this one. Obviously, going on the road can be a little bit tough, but over the course of the season, they're 36th in the nation in points against, 52nd in points for. They're a top 60 rushing yards per game team. And I like a lot of what I'm seeing here from Fresno State. Are they going to be an amazing team? Maybe not. But are they going to be good enough to hang around there in the Mountain West? Seems pretty likely. Now, they're taking on a team that's made it very clear they won't be able to hang around the Mountain West. That is the Colorado State Rams. They're 1-4 on the year, not having a great time. Lost at Washington in week 1, and it wasn't nearly as close as the final score would indicate. An easy win, then losing against UTSA, losing against Washington State 20-3, and then last week a 45-24 blowout loss there at San Diego State. So yeah, life looking a little bit rough there for the Colorado State Rams. Didn't love what we saw from Jackson Brosu. 155 yards, 1 touchdown. Actually, Darius Curry looked much better under center. We'll see what they're going to do with that quarterback situation. The running game was okay. Dupree had 103 yards on the ground on 16 carries, so that wasn't a bad look necessarily, but defensively, holy cow, they couldn't stop anything that San Diego State wanted to do. Gave up 256 passing yards, allowed Jaden Dangle to complete 13 out of 16 passes, no interceptions there, gave up 2 triple-digit running efforts there against them. A total of 282 yards and 47 carries and 4 rushing touchdowns is what Colorado State gave up on the ground. They didn't generate a single turnover in the game. Pretty brutal stuff. And in terms of their season-long defensive numbers, they're around 100th in the nation despite not playing a tough schedule. They're 118th in the nation in points per game. They're just not a very good team. They're trying to build up this program. Congrats. You scored 3 points against Washington State the other day. Like, that is a brutal, brutal performance. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Rams are getting 6.5 points at home. We've got a total of 47 in this game. Fresno State's 3-3 against the spread. They're also 3-3 to the over-under. Colorado State is 2-3 against the spread on the road, and they are 3-2 to the under themselves. Guys, I'm definitely taking Fresno State here minus 6.5. Their defense is a difference maker in this one. The Bulldogs are 30th in the nation in yards allowed compared to Colorado State being 97th in the nation in yards allowed. Colorado State trending in the wrong direction, coming off back-to-back blowout losses. The Rams have gone to their backup quarterback, which didn't work out amazing in their 24-45 loss against San Diego State. Fresno State has shown they can perform well on the road, winning at Oregon State and at Hawaii. I don't think they're going to have any trouble coming up with a, at least 7-point, at least 1 touchdown win here on the road against a pretty bad Colorado State team. Guys, unfortunately, that's all the games we have here for today. Hit that like button for a good look on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you. I appreciate everybody watching these videos. Make sure you're getting over there to stumpthespread.com. It is a great time to become a premium member over there. Tons and tons of great premium picks coming out every single day. Big write-ups on all those picks as well, so you can see exactly what our thought process was behind every single one of those predictions. So definitely get over there and check that out. Go over there and get on that free email list. It's a fantastic resource every single day. Parlays in there, tons of free picks, information on niche sports betting like golf, NASCAR, WNBA, all kinds of great stuff in there. So definitely take advantage of that. It's a free resource, guys, and I'm here to try and help you win. So you should definitely get on there. Guys, that's all we've got for today. We'll be back with a full slate of college football action here on Saturday, and you know where to find us here, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.